there seems to be something, and again, I'm brand new at live stream, but there seems to be something stuck in queue, and so my first wonder is if someone is copying my my online persona, which is my persona 24/7. I don't have aliases, and I don't have I don't change clothes several times during the day with the purpose of or tactic strategy of being in avoidance of any information that I've presented at any particular time. Um, but my concern is that my identification is and or has been copied. So there's something that seems to be stuck in queue uh, somewhere within this YouTube system and within my live stream capability from my, I don't know if the correct word is interface. Because right at present time, I have one computer and that's the one I'm on. And again, I'm doing this for clarification purposes to maintain honesty and integrity within information that I'm presenting, stands that I'm presenting, um, goals and motivations, and where I'm coming from. And to always, anyone who happens to come across my presentations, I am an honest person and I don't have any aliases. Uh, and um, so this particular stream I titled Birth Certificates, Identity Theft, and Human Trafficking, because I have a complete comprehension, not comprehension, comprehension from my standpoint implies logical understanding with compassion. I don't have compassion for people who have trafficked children. Um, but I have a logical understanding of how identity theft has played into the human trafficking system, and I'm a victim of the human trafficking system within uh, within several different levels. Um, Levels as in identification documents, and levels within my maternal rights as a biological mother of my own birthed biological children, both adult and minor age, which I've spoken about practically every day. For a good number of years now, and I'm as I regain my mental health in regard to intellectual and emotional capability to grasp information that I've observed and experienced within my own personal life. Um, I can speak about one level being the fact that, and a more emotional presentation, because as I've talked about many times, I believe my biological children um, have been trafficked. And I am now stating publicly and uh, um, online publicly. I've stated it publicly, as in conversations that I've had with different people in real time, face to face. But now I'm stating publicly on YouTube and on my video journal entries within the Facebook platform, um, that I believe my two daughters both have twin brothers, and that information I was denied from doctors and other members of the medical field. Um, and I believe to practically 100% on both. And it becomes a questionable issue from the standpoint of people who are involved in human trafficking, who then go out into gossip, have gone out into gossip networks and said, "Oh, she claims. How can somebody be pregnant with twins and not know how can a mother be pregnant with twins and not know why would she need confirmation from doctors? Any good mother is going to have," and I'm just presenting attitude uh, uh, responses uh, from other people um, within attitudes that I've received myself when I've um, and my response that I was not given the opportunity based on real time conversation, but people taking my story and running with it without giving me the respect of um of being able to respond in real time in a face to face conversation. My response is that from an emotional and a naive and innocent minded person such as I am, that I would have never dreamed that this could happen in the United States to any woman. I would have never dreamed, therefore, I was taken advantage of within my innocence of what I expected the American government to um to be in my life, and and my family members who I grew up under the same roof with. Um so it's a condition of my innocence and my naive existence being and contributing to inadvertently to my own situation, um and unknowingly, because I never dreamed that a woman could be pregnant and her with twins, and that there was some kind of debt owed by the biological father, and that deals were made without my knowledge of even being pregnant with twins, without any formal. And when I was pregnant with my first daughter, who I had custody of in 1987, a normal birth, as in I experienced problems like health problems, but normal birth as in the birth coming to fruition. And my second pregnancy 20 years later with a different man, I actually questioned. But my first pregnancy, sonogram pictures and photos weren't weren't as obvious as they are now. And what they are now is even more uh, clear, as in what a mother can see, I think, than what could be seen and visually interpreted and thereby logically interpreted by what can be seen in a sonogram picture. And in 1987, sonogram photographing or pictures, that was a brand new a brand new thing, a brand new technology, brand new in by way of popular use in pregnancy. It wasn't a brand new technology, but it was brand new as in presented to mainstream use in pregnancy. And even within that technology in 1987, the pictures weren't as clear as they were in 2007. And in 2007, they weren't as clear as I'm assuming they weren't as clear as they are today. So mothers today, I think, possibly have a better opportunity to be able to identify and thereby more of a in their own hands sort of ability to say, what are you talking about? This is clear as day. This is a boy, this is a girl. And even in the sonogram pictures that were taken in 2007, I was questioning my home care nurse, and I've talked about this many times. I questioned my home care nurse because I was told I was pregnant with a girl. And I wasn't unhappy that I was pregnant with a girl and not a boy. Just after my sonogram, after receiving and undergoing sonogram photographing of my pregnancy and receiving those pictures, I was like, looking at my sonogram pictures, and Petrus had already left. So I didn't have, and he and I's relationship wasn't in a communicative, real-time communication level, and still isn't, unfortunately. I would like it to be, because I could use the moral support. However, the sonogram pictures, I questioned. I had a home care nurse because I was a high risk pregnancy, and and I was like, okay, you're telling me, and the doctor's office is telling me that I'm pregnant with a girl. But when I look at this sonogram picture, I see a boy right here in the very forefront of the sonogram picture. And she said, no, no. Her name was Kathy Jackson. And I know what she looked like, and I know who she resembled in retrospect. Because at the time, again, I wasn't in real time awareness of the possibility that Kathy Jackson was an alias and someone placed in my life as a home care nurse through a home care agency, um, who may have been and appeared in another role in my life in earlier years. Um, and so Kathy Jackson, my home care nurse, said, no, you're pregnant with a girl. And here's the girl right here. And she pointed to a girl in the in the background. And I said, oh yeah, I can see that. I can see now I can see a girl also. But I also see a boy right here in the forefront, and the girl in the background, as in Elsa was behind my son, her twin brother. Oh no, 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 no. And in 1987, the reason I'm questioning my pregnancy in 1987 in regard to believing now that I was also pregnant with twins in 1987. And again, I'm not trying to diminish either of my daughters in my life, because I love and care for my daughters very, very much. And uh, I need to acknowledge my son's existence also. And the reason I'm questioning uh, the fact that I may have been pregnant with twins in 1987 also, because I'm 100% convinced that I was pregnant in 2007 with a boy and a girl. Um, and I'm about 95 to 99.999% certain now that I was pregnant with twins also in 1987. And um, the emotional acceptance of that level of not of corruption um, within the medical field in such a personal level from a female maternal biological mother's standpoint, um, has for myself been a very, very, very intellectual and emotional constant um, need to like grasp this information and internalize and digest the information that this could happen in the United States. And then the next level is I need to acknowledge my son's existence, because for to think that my son is going through whatever he may have gone through, um, and whatever he was being told, both my now 35-year-old son and my very soon to be 15-year-old son, by people who have trafficked him, um, either or both. Um, I need them to understand that they are not unloved by their biological mother. Um, and that we experienced a same level betrayal, just from different roles, as in biological mother and biological son. Um, and my daughter's experiencing a level of similar betrayal in having biological siblings that they were not given a relationship to. And I'm not trying to make an overly emotionally gratuitous presentation. Um, I need people to understand that a woman's right to know what's going on in her own body, and then particularly in regard to pregnancy, uh, it, and a child's right to know the truth of their own biological parents. Uh, and such a practice of a woman not given that information, and the implications of there are no words for the depth of irresponsibility um and irresponsibility down to coming down to the to a level of public safety and global security and national security and statewide security. I mean, this is, from a woman's standpoint, this is big stuff. And the men who are involved, that they haven't even taken into consideration the ones who have knowingly participated and signed whatever documentation of the practices of which I'm talking about, which is the black marketing of children who weren't even as natural born United States citizen of a natural born biological mother. Those men haven't even considered the fact of the very historical engagements of their own existences, of which they have relied on the kings and the pharaohs of their own lineage, and what wars have always come down to. And again, I am presenting a logical argument, even though it's an emotional issue, from at least a maternal mother standpoint, and I think a child's standpoint. And so I'm just going to end this particular live stream and say again, whoever you are who may have trafficked my children for whatever motivation or reason, because the only one that I can find is one, that I'm a Christian, and two, that it was all very politically driven. And my children are and have been used as resources for financial gain and political placement and for intellectual resource. And so I'm going to end my stream right now and say, I need and want my children back. And to Danielle Wagmeister specifically, because when I was undergoing a custody battle with the state of Colorado in 2011, and every time I went into the Aurora Child Protective Services office, and Danielle would look at me and say, "Oh, this isn't about you, Dawn." And Danielle Wagmeister, I cannot remember what her specific title was, but it had to do with child psychology. And as a female, I had and was asking myself, does Danielle Wagmeister have biological children? Because from a maternal biological standpoint, and I may have even said this to her, because she didn't seem to have any kind of professional or personal comprehension of a biological mother's emotion in regard to what I was experiencing. If it is about my child born of my womb, it is about me. And if it is about me, then it is about my biological child also, because we have a visceral emotional connection. And so I'll end this particular stream there.